Yesterday, the Quran gave us the full story of Yusuf. Today, we do not repeat that story. Today, we move into the shared Hadith layer, the material that lives in both Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. This layer is smaller than the Quranic story, but it is not smaller in meaning, because here, Yusuf appears in the words of the Messenger of Allah, and what is preserved here does something very important. It teaches us how to read the story, not only as events, but as honor, beauty, and hidden intention. In the night journey and ascent through the heavens, the prophet was taken upward, the gates were opened, and in the third heaven, he saw Yusuf. The shared narration tells us that Yusuf had been given half of beauty. He welcomed the prophet, and he prayed for his well-being. That means the Yusuf we saw in the well on Tuesday, the Yusuf hidden from people, the Yusuf betrayed on earth, is also the Yusuf honored in heaven. He is not remembered only for pain. He is not remembered only for betrayal. He is remembered among the prophets in the heavens, radiant, welcoming, honored by Allah. So this shared hadith layer begins where human eyes do not normally see, not in the pit, not in the prison, but above. This matters because Tuesday already showed us that Yusuf's beauty became part of his earthly trial. The women were overwhelmed. Temptation pressed itself into the story. The city reacted, but the shared hadith layer does not present Yusuf as a symbol of vanity. It presents him as a prophet honored by Allah, a prophet marked by beauty but never ruled by it, a prophet whose outward form did not corrupt his inward truth. So beauty in Yusuf's story is not the destination. Beauty is one of the trust, purity is the victory, and that is why the same Yusuf who could have been reduced by people is elevated in hadith by the Messenger of Allah. Then the shared layer gives us another key, not a direct event from the life of Yusuf, but the inner law that explains how stories like Yusuf begin. Umar narrated that the Messenger of Allah taught that actions are judged by intentions, and every person receives according to what he intended. So before there was a well, there was a heart. Before there was betrayal, there was envy. Before there was a lie, there was motive. Before there was cruelty, there was corruption growing in the unseen. And on the other side of the same truth, before there was honor in Egypt, before there was protection in temptation, before there was wisdom in prison, before there was forgiveness in reunion, there was sincerity. There was refuge in Allah. There was truth inside the chest. So this narration belongs here, because Yusuf's story is not only a story of what happened, it is a story of what was forming inside people long before the scene was visible. Now bring the shared layer together. On Tuesday, we saw Yusuf on earth, dreaming, betrayed, hidden, sold, tested, imprisoned, raised, forgiving. Today, in the shared hadith layer, we see what the Messenger of Allah revealed, that Yusuf is among the prophets in heaven, that beauty did not reduce him, and that the real turning points of stories begin in intentions, before they appear in events. So Yusuf is not just the boy in the well, he is also the prophet in the third heaven, not just the one desired by people, but the one honored by Allah. Not just a story of outward beauty, but a story of inward truth. And this is where the shared layer ends, not because Yusuf is small in hadith, but because source discipline matters. What is truly shared between Bukhari and Muslim about Yusuf is precious. We do not stretch it. We do not force extra material into it. We honor it exactly for what it is. And that matters for the grand plan, because each day in this series is one part of the reveal. Tuesday gave the Quranic earth story, Wednesday gave the shared hadith, light from above and the unseen key of intention. Thursday will sharpen the Bukhari layer, Friday will deepen the Muslim layer, and Saturday will gather them all into one full life story. So tonight, hold this truth. The Yusuf whom the Quran showed us in pain on earth, the Messenger of Allah showed us in honor in heaven.